Hi, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
We can hear fans pretty loud from your end, God.
Okay, let me take care of that.
Fixed.
All right. Just let me know if it starts to cut off for beginning or ends of sentences, that kind of thing.
Okie doke.
For sure.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am posting a link to it now in recaps, but I finally managed to get a Spider House episode edited and posted.
That was I think I did a lot of screaming during that episode.
There was definitely a lot of screaming in that episode. I have also added background music.
Nice.
Which is just like lo-fi, but it works. I think the crackle gives it a very 90s feel. Share the playlist. No, that's the thing. There we go.
Since Bob's on an extended nap, that means Grippy and Dr. Thrace can eat all the grubs they want.
Oh, stuffing grubs down our throats so fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, that's a fun one. I'm looking forward to Paradimension Caldwell, episode 8, when I can get around to that one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, some of the character work for these, for just the Oliver Betsy and John combo was just at full Scooby-Doo in that episode, and I think it was the best y'all worked together.
I agree.
We will not have Bird today. Bird may pop in to say hi, but has concert with Kiddo.
Understood.
Tegan said that she will be showing up, but she may be a little bit late. She's running errands.
Okay.
Nice. Dasha can help find grub.
Yes, probably Ksenia, because Dasha has been swallowed by Ksenia again for safekeeping.
Important to save.
Oh, what a fight. That was probably like one of the closest fights in, I would say, the lady phase 2 got that close, I would say. Yeah. Because first phase ended up with
No, you skipped phase 2. Y'all skipped phase 2. You'll want straight to phase 3 by preventing her from leaving.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The phase 3, because I had the probably the hardest fight since fucking Flesh Golem, and then the fucking Chaos Sorcerer afterwards.
Ooh, yeah.
That was gnarly.
Those were definitely some fun ones. As it is, your characters are across a valley of golden plains from the place where the wandering gods first made contact. That is far to the west, essentially on the other side of the Shadow Valley, the ring of mountains that encircle I wouldn't call it necessarily a nation, but a culture, its own people, those of the Shadow Valley. They are throwbacks to the time when Quosis was eternally covered in night.
Oh.
They have some very powerful magic. Necromancy is not looked down upon there, and they seem to have an endless supply of material for magic items in the Agon Sand Desert, which is a desert whose sand is soaked in liquid pain.
If you think about it, all of the other nations are really failing at capitalism because necromancy is a great business opportunity. So what does the ruling class do? They squeeze every possible amount of effort out of you for every day, every night for your entire fucking life. Now imagine if you could sell your corpse to the rich post-mortem and they just then get you as a 24/7 workout workhorse until your body deteriorates. For like 3 years worth of food for your family, that's great. They can probably get 10 to 15 years labor out you, and like
There are a couple of nation states or a couple of cultures on the continent who do certainly embrace that. Death worshippers have often made contracts with the living to essentially pay them up front for use of their corpse later.
yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like
I'm not going to use this when I'm done. Like, might as well,
Like, wait, you're telling me I'm not gonna have to shell out money to have a funeral? Absolutely, or a burial? Oh,
One of my favorite characters that the player made came from the other side of the world in the Marks, but she came from a remote mountain village where their name was Requiem. They were a half-elf in a village of humans, so they grew up real slow and essentially had to be passed around the village at some point just because of the extended childhood. But that village has a death custom very similar in that it's not a capitalist thing. It is simply the next phase of life for them. When someone dies, then they are reanimated and essentially property of the family, and they are essentially treated with respect. They're treated like the deceased. One person in town, the overkeeper, his job is just to paint the dead, any unclaimed dead that are just a part of the community. It's their job to paint them, and so it ends up being very Sugar Skulls kind of thing.
hell yeah!
Candy Skull.
That sounds rad.
Yeah. That's a lot of fun. But over on this end of the world, you all have a substantial sum of magic item ingredients. You have a not insubstantial amount of money. Grippy has a relic of the the goddess of life of the area in the frickin' solar powered gun.
That's easily tied for my favorite magic weapon I've ever had. I had an artifact longbow for a high level ranger I was playing. I was like 13th or 14th level. It was still way too overpowered of an item to give me, but it was a +3 swift wounding longbow.
Ooh.
Or no, great bow. Because I
Yeah.
was proficient with them. And so I was a ranged focused ranger I had a few levels in fighter for the extra feat. And yeah, so I was just dumping out like 5d12 around.
Oof. Nice. Yeah.
Gun, definitely tied.
I think at the end of last game, we'd got everybody back to the Bandit cave. You guys had your stuff loaded up and were essentially deciding what to do from there. I just finished the transcription of last game.
There was some valley nearby we were thinking about.
Yeah, Valley
I'm hearing y'all want to head towards the Embermont.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because of the foxes.
And the college.
Yes. Go ahead.
Also, while we were at camp, I wanted to try to procure a set of thieves' tools now that I'm proficient in thievery. That way I can, lockpick and stuff like that.
Yeah. They'll have a set. They'll probably want you to buy it off of them. But you can theoretically make a diplomacy request check to try to get them to give it to you.
Ooh, might as well. Just a silly little guy. It's like, hey, I've been watching y'all do the things, and I would love to learn how to pick lock fetch.
Alright, then, yeah.
My character sheet up.
Loading Wigglesworth, just because that's my general baseline. And Archives of Nephis.
14.
Make a request of a creature that is friendly or helpful to you. Success. Target agrees to your request, but they demand added provisions or alterations to the request. They'll want half price.
Fair. We'll the two go 3 gold. I'll just pay 3 gold for them. I don't mind. That's not bad, you know.
Certainly endears yourself to them.
Yeah. And then I don't have to make them make change.
Mm-hmm.
That also makes it a little bit more awkward. Like, yes, thank you for this great deal. Do you have change?
There's a funeral within the next couple of days of you being at camp for Griselda and for Jarek, as Griselda was the one who was most adamant about bringing Jarek back from the dead, and it's one of those things where if they believe that someone is coming back to life, they're not going to perform a funeral. But as Griselda has died, they don't really expect to have Jarek revived.
I mean, if we could get down there and just get, like, a finger of his, if we found a priest who could do true resurrection, but that's a pretty tall... Yeah, that's... I mean, it's like 10 grand in D&D, so I assume it's probably comparable.
Yeah. The Shiny Pete will just... Are you willing to pay for that? Because I'm not. I'm not taking that out of my cut.
That's fair.
And I think that's part of the funeral traditions of the area, is sort of speak now or forever hold your peace, almost wedding-like, of if somebody here doesn't want this funeral to proceed because they're going to bring the person back to life someday, they want to make that promise, then we can stop the funeral right here.
You know, I've really grown to like you guys. Sorry for the part I played the last Jarek and roundabout Zelda as well.
Well, you'll make it up to us. You're gonna help us go legit, right?
Of course.
Nobody else is gonna have to die. The booty we got from that rage lasts us at least a few months before we need to knock somebody else over. So, if you guys can, start turning a profit by then, we might not have to.
What else we need to do in town before we skedaddle? Not in town, but in camp. We've loaded the wagon with our food and our crystals for healing potions.
Yeah, unless there's anything anybody wants to do while they're there. How long do you plan to spend there?
In camp, not much longer than necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I figured stay around for the funeral and the after party, then big ant, and then head out the next day.
All right. Well, you've got Nick Holt, you've got your wagon, you've got your food, your supplies, your magic item ingredients, and you start headed down the cliffside trail. You can see Ksenia off in the distance, flying within sight of you. Mr. Wigglesworth is having a caterpillar nap. Are you prepared to make the journey, just you two?
I'll admit, that does make the journey a little more dangerous. What can we see of the path from camp for the purpose of spell preparation?
You've traveled this particular route a few times now, so you know that the dangers of the cliff face are cliff bats and rock slides. Past that is the forest, where you've got spiders and wolves, and a troll unless you skirt around him.
I think we're probably going to skirt around him.
The danger of getting lost increases by doing that, but better than the troll.
Precisely.
Yeah, I mean, we probably have to wait a minute for the troll, but we do at least have fire damage now, which is one of the
things that will help.
Makes it a possibility we had to. Definitely not with just 2 of us, but
eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well then, Unless you've got any solutions to that problem, roll me up percentiles, each of you.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Percentile 91.
Not bad, not bad.
86.
91 and 86.
Damn.
The sun is shining. It's a gorgeous view. And nothing attempts to attack you. In fact, the path through the forest that you've taken a few times now is much clearer, having been trod over and over again recently. I give a bonus to the no direction, or decrease the difficulty of the no direction check. Survival check, one of you.
Ready? Here's...
Yeah, my survival's a +2 and I'm untrained, so
Yeah.
let's see what you can get.
Well, my first
I'm a
roll was
C.
a 9, but it was kind of cocked, so I re-rolled
Where'd you get on the reroll?
11
Is that before or after your bonus?
after.
Oh,
Well, luckily, the good rolls on your percentiles and the lots of recent travel have dropped the DC for finding it to 10. So you do, despite a couple of rough turns, you don't get anywhere near what you would consider to be lost.
yay!
Yay.
It is nearing end of day. You made really good time. You set it out in the morning and you're getting to Highridge Village at end of day. Are y'all camping outside or getting a room?
I was right about to say, I think we should probably camp outside.
Yeah, like, out of line of sight of this town, if possible.
Yeah. Like, possibly even skirting the town and going a ways further if possible.
Lord knows how they'd react to seeing us.
Yeah.
And
Could
I
be
don't
a
think we have
complete
the legal standing to keep them from going through our cart either.
Yeah. Well, roll me another percentile, one of you.
Oh, I'm on it. 51.
51. On your excursion, skirting around the town to find a good place out of earshot and eyesight to camp, you catch a glimpse of a campfire.
I think
Someone
we should probably
else-
avoid it.
Someone else seems to have had the same idea. Attempt to avoid it?
Unless you think you're stealthy enough to go take a peek, Grippy. I don't want to risk it being a caravaneer who saw us fucking around.
I was right about to say, I think I could risk a peek, but that is a pretty great risk.
So what's your stealth at? Mine's +6, so I don't know if you're
think
stealthier than me or not.
I think mine's also +7, but let me double check. It might be plus. Stealth is +7.
Well, I doubt the wagon's stealth is too hard, but if we want to take a look, one of us could take a peek.
Yeah, do you want me to just go for it since mine's a little bit higher?
Sure, just be careful, Grippy.
Oh, I will. 19.
19, nice. Just see here. Work with me, computer.
Have you told it that it is a good computer? That may help.
Good computer.
Sorry, microphone jumped.
All good. Apologies for the delay.
No more times to look at my spells and figure out what to have prepared.
Oh, I should have actually gotten one more. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, the rest of the druid dedication feats aren't really worth taking.
Aw.
I mean, it's kind of cool. Eventually, I would get up to, I think, 5th level spells or something like that, which is still pretty decent. We're talking at, 15, 16th level, maybe higher. And I think it
Okay.
might be 4th or 5th level spells. Most of the feats.
So the person at the campfire is looks elfish, maybe human, you can't quite tell, but she's got long dark hair and she's wearing a cloak that's adorned with feathers and trinkets. It jingles anytime she moves. Make me a perception check.
Nat 1. I am entranced by the way the firelight dances across her bauble.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna need you to make me another stealth check.
13.
13. You are very busy staring at the way the firelight's glittering off of her cloak, that it's only when a twig snaps next to you that you look over and see the mid-sized gray wolf that has approached you. It gives a low growl, and she looks up.
I'll stand upright and say, "Hi, I'm Grippy."
She'll look startled for just a second. Alara.
We didn't want to stay in town either.
Well, you're welcome to join me by the fire.
Go get my companion. Yeah, they kind of ran us out of our home, so
I know
no
the
hard
feeling.
feelings.
Don't mind Moose. He's just curious.
I'll get my petting gloves on too while I'm at the cart, and I'll show her my sticky hands.
Oh, yes. Good idea. She'll shrug.
I'll hop and skip back to Thrace, having successfully made a friend.
So who was it?
Her name is Alara, and she has a very shiny coat and a very big wolf. Very big. But his name is, and apparently, just curious.
Cool. Should we find somewhere else to rest then?
She said we're welcome to share her fire.
Dr. Thrace narrows her eyes slightly in distrust, but if you say so, Grippy.
I guess I didn't really vibe check her.
You can give me a post-action insight roll. What we got for that?
Nat 1.
Not again! Not use a hero point. Use a hero point, please. I beg of you.
Being a hero.
Okay, thank you.
What am I using as a modifier?
I think society, probably.
We live in a society? Oh my god.
I'm
Hey,
looking at anything else.
Nat 1.
No! You're shitting me.
Oh dear, sweet God.
I'll use another hero point.
You need to stop killing quest NPCs.
Unless.
There is a soft clicking sound, and everything around you seems to be moving in jerks and starts. Things will freeze for like a second or two and then suddenly jump forward to somewhere else after a few seconds of the click, click, click sound and everything shuddering. There is a low beep, beep, and everything goes black for both of you.
Oh, fuck.
What feels like could have been a
Last
second.
time we saved.
Could have been a second, could have been an hour. I like the idea of the last time you saved, but I'm going forward at the moment that you appear, everything comes back into focus, just clicks back on. Perception checks for both of you. Don't nat one again.
Certainly.
15.
Okay.
That one was almost a 20. It stalled on the 20 for a second and then rolled back onto the 8.
18 for perception, you said, yeah?
Yes.
18.
Your clothes are new. Your boots are new.
Like they're different?
They are different from what they were like a few minutes ago, you're pretty sure, because you've been walking in these for miles and miles and miles, and they look brand new.
Grippy? What? What happened?
I don't know. I think I went too far.
What do you mean?
The last thing I remember is I was trying to think back which I guess now be forward.
Where are we standing?
You're standing next to Nicolt, next to the wagon. It's in the middle of the night. You're in the middle of a sort of a forested area. There's a flickering of campfire up ahead.
Do I remember what happened last time?
Yes.
Well, Dr. Thrace looks around concerned and would like to make an Arcana check. Please let there be a spell that makes this make sense. Please let there be a spell that makes this make sense.
Make me that Arcana check. There just might be.
I've got... Where is it? There it is. I would like to use Assurance. Even in the worst of circumstances, you can perform basic tasks. Choose a skill I'm trained in. You can forego rolling a check on that skill to instead receive a result of 10 plus my proficiency bonus. For a total of 18.
Nice. Then in that case, you know that a lot of the wizardry that you learned is sort of archaeologically obtained. The people who invented these spells, the people who invented wizardry, had very strange philosophies on how the universe worked. But their magic works, so there might be something to it. In their terms, that was a lockup or a system crash.
A system crash?
Like the system of all the objects and magic and stuff around you, the whole system just crashed suddenly, just stopped working and had to be replaced.
I see. How common of an occurrence is that?
Oh, extremely rare. There's records of it happening a few times, usually around cataclysmic events, but occasionally just randomly the entanglements between all the objects and magic and everything else just gets itself tied into a knot and just stops working for a second.
Well, I am going to stop for a minute and write down what I remember of the experience. Just taking notes.
Yeah.
And do my best to explain to Grippy what I think happened. But act very unsure about that.
Did I brain too hard and cause a lockout?
I don't know if we're powerful enough to do that.
Oh, well.
We should go ask Alara if Alara noticed it. I presume you said they were covered in shiny bits and bobs. That sounds like a magician to me.
Yeah. Let's go over to... Actually, I think I should just still go, because I think that moose was fused by me. But after I make nice, I'll call for you, or I'll walk back over. Because
okay.
It might look a little bit more like a snack to moose than I do. Might be trepidatious about eating me because I'm slimy. But I'll bring
Hedgehog
my petting
Spiky.
Oh yeah, hedgehogs. Yeah. I grab my petting gloves and we'll just both...
She's still there, just warming her hands by the fire. Perception check, Dr. Thrace.
Un momento, I was taking a hit.
Yep.
Natural 20 plus my perception of 6.
Fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, you can see that her tent is pretty well camouflaged, but it's up underneath one of the trees. Looking up at the trees, though, there are an abnormal number of birds here. Most of them are snuggled down for the night, but you can count at least 12 different kinds of bird.
Ooh. Are they native types of birds? I'm from the area.
Yes.
Okay. There's no
some of them seem like they might be from a little far away, but nothing more than 100 miles.
Okay, so there's no South Saharan parrots here. It's all
exactly
roughly supposed to live in this area.
Except for the penguin.
There's a penguin in the tree?
There is not the penguin, unfortunately.
Rip.
3 and a gun and an actual tuxedo.
But you spot Moose before he spots you, the mid-sized gray wolf. You also spot a number of bundles, sitting on one side of her, and some piles of plants on the other side, and she's sort of tying them up into little bundles from the left and putting them off to the right. Her hands are stained greenish brown.
Definitely a naturalist of some sort.
Yes. She'll look up and wave y'all over.
Hey there.
Come on in, Moose knows you sent.
So, you do remember. You experienced that lockout too, right? That everything froze?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I wasn't locked out of anywhere. I camp in the woods of my own volition. I know I said that I had some idea of what you were going through when you said you were kicked out, but I haven't been locked out of the town.
No,
As for the temperature, it's fine. It's a little cold, but I wouldn't say that it's freezing.
Thrace could probably explain it better. This is my companion, friend, Dr. Thrace.
Cute little hedgehog steps out and goes, "Yes, there was an arcane lockout in the last couple of minutes. I suppose you didn't notice."
She'll shrug. Arcane really isn't my side of the square, as it were.
"I understand. It's mine, and there was..."
And Dr. Thrace will look around and give a sniff.
"Something of an arcane occurrence in the last several minutes. I'm not quite sure what caused it."
Well, what kind of occurrence?
You said that it happens sort of at random sometimes, but usually around cataclysmic events. Do I have any examples of random things that have done it that didn't seem cataclysmic? Trying to think of a way to put, could have been anything from a great cataclysm to a...
Yeah. I mean, somebody teleporting in the wrong direction.
That works.
Those have been known to cause teleportation storms.
It could have been caused by anything from some sort of great arcane cataclysm to somebody misfiring a teleportation spell. I'm not quite certain. Everything seems mostly normal, though my clothes have changed a little bit somehow.
They're cleaner. We've been walking all day. Heck on us.
She'll sort of sigh. This is why I don't mess around with wizardry. Unpredictable and unnatural. She'll shrug.
Understandable. We were actually brought to sentience by wizardry, to be familiars, and our master wanted us to live longer, so he awakened
us.
She'll frown. A wizard awakened you?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm following in his footsteps as a wizard.
And I've devoted my life to the druidic lore.
See, that makes sense. She'll point at Grippy.
Hedgehogs are no studious creatures.
Dr. Thrace will nod.
I mean, I've often been called a hedge witch.
I'm a hedge wizard.
And Dr. Thrace will let out a cute little chuckle.
Well, just try to keep the arcane magic to a minimum around camp.
I don't plan to use it.
But she'll pull some root vegetables that she'd been cooking in the fire out and hand a few of them over.
Aw.
How gracious. Do we have any, hardtack we could offer in return?
Yeah, you've got general rations, but she'll decline. I forage for my own, and I happen to have some extra.
How kind.
It was gifted to me. I might as well gift it on.
Life bound. That's actually what drew me to the forest. You know?
She'll nod. How old are you, if I might ask?
That's a really good question, God. I don't know.
Well, this is a good time to decide.
How long does it take to graduate wizard school?
Depending upon your aptitude. Let me see here.
I have a +4 int mod, so I'm very smart.
2d6 years.
Hmm.
For a human. Someone with approximately a human lifespan.
I rolled a 3 and a 1.
So, 4-year degree.
Okay, and then I gotta look up how long it takes a hedgehog to come to maturity. Yeah.
Well, I feel like probably, yeah, sure, and then Woken. Then, I mean, maybe there was like study years, and then off to wizard school. Like, how freshly out of wizards?
So a hedgehog becomes fully adult in 7 months. So I could be like, what, 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a normal hedgehog lives to be 5 years. So say I was 2 years before I was a year, and then I was awakened, then a year hanging out with the professor and with our dad, and then 4 years at college that he was so proud to see his little daughter go to. I got to go
Well,
get some accelerated courses because my dad taught me magic.
6 years. That's... She looks baffled.
The youngest of our group who is taking a nap in my familiar pouch is much younger.
I swear you're like mayflies sometimes.
She is a larva. A grub.
I'm not sure what to think of you, to be honest. She'll laugh.
Most don't. We are quite peculiar creatures. I think that's why we were run out of town, at least in part.
Well, I stay out of towns for my peculiar creatures, so she'll shrug and gesture around to the birds and the wolf.
Yes, I saw your marvelous collection of bird friends. Is that a long-throated warbler I see?
Oh, yes, it is. You got a good eye there. Yeah, no, that one sounds... Tim.
Oh, I should introduce you to our last companion.
And I'd like to pull Mr. Whiskers out of the familiar pouch and go, and this is Mr. Whiskers.
Takes off his hat and gives a little bow.
Oh, also, if a crow pops down and a puff of smoke comes out of its mouth and a small feral elf child appears at some point during the night, don't worry, she's, well, safe probably isn't the right word, but definitely a forest person like us.
Good to know.
We only met her recently, so we don't know her as well. But I think she's a good egg.
I do too. I believe that she also has trouble with the human civilized area. I mean, they have so many laws, and none of them make sense. The person who's in charge of everybody isn't even strong. Like, I could take him, and he's in charge of armies of people that he can just send to die all around the world to fight their way all the way back home, and people do it just because he says that the gods say it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. If I had my way, I'd burn all the cities to the ground.
Fuck around.
But
The
that
Wizard of
just
City
means...
Wizardry stays silent.
But that just means that I would have to deal with them all out here.
Yeah,
So I suppose they can keep their walls.
we're actually trip to try to open up our shop.
Oh, you're opening up a shop?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm an alchemist.
I'm
Oh.
a healer.
We have some resources from our father's tower left that we plan to use to open a new place to live in a nearby town, hopefully. We're not allowed to own property in... Highcliff?
Highridge.
Highridge. So,
And then Dr. Thrace shrugs.
Well, suppose that's fortuitous. I'm an herbalist myself. She'll gesture at the pile of plant bundles that she's sorted.
I study the craft a little myself as well. Curious what you had there.
She'll show it off.
Can I try to impress her a little bit by identifying one of them?
Yeah, make me a nature check.
Oh, I have 4 herbalism.
Yeah, herbalism.
And my nature check.
Nature, yeah.
Unnatural.
Unnatural 20?
Yes.
Yeah. They're-
I think somebody's microwaving near me, sorry.
She...
Had my mic really far from my mouth.
She is a bit impressed. You seem to have the skills of someone trained and talented in the profession. Well, if you're looking to buy ingredients. I've got plenty. That's what I'm doing around town. I plan to go in tomorrow and see if the general store needs any of my goods.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to checking your stock.
And should you successfully set up a place and need future ingredients, I wander these hills.
Well, we're headed to Embermont as our first attempt to lay down roots. If we're still there, we will have, hopefully, a successful shop.
Embermont. She'll give a little shudder. Never liked the air in that place.
What can you tell us about Embermont?
It's Flaming Mountain, home of the fire god. It's a city. It's probably the largest city nearby, Embermont. A hub of arcane talent and talented craftsmen, and those who don't mind working under the constant shade of the mountain. Snows ash there as often as it rains, and the things they do to appease the fire god, I like to hope they're just callous rumor.
Good to know.
The Embermont is the city around Castle Pyre, and it's only a couple of safe ways to get there. Well, she shrugs. Only one safe way to get there. The other one takes you across what they call the Death Step path. I wouldn't exactly call that a safe route.
Why do they call it that?
Something to do with geysers? She shrugs. I've never been there myself. The safest way is a bit less direct, but if you head down the Lunar Vale and the Shadow Road, I think Shimmerfield's probably the nicest of them. Nightbloom Village has its charms, and they do have good ingredients there. If I were you, I wouldn't set up in a city, I'd set up in a town. Put yourselves along some thoroughfare, some trade route. Caravaneers are always needing healing potions.
That's brilliant, and then also we wouldn't have to be on the walls, and it would be easier to get in and out of town. I was dreading the idea of being high walled. Not that I've ever seen high.
Wherever we set up, we need to make sure we can own property there before we start laying down roots.
That is fair.
I know in towns I'm usually allowed to, be a person, especially with my doctorate. I'm concerned if we set up too far from town, people may try and knock us over.
Well, Nightbloom, they have sacred flowers there. I'm not sure if they have any rules about animal ownership. I heard rumor that the mayor of Blaze Hollow was a goat, but they might have been joking.
I see.
Nightbloom Village sounds pleasant.
She shrugs. Most of the time it is. It's still in the shadow of the mountain, and the ash and snows have been known to fall inches thick. It kills most of the vegetation, but they grow back twice as strong. She looks a little bit sad about it.
I see.
I'd love to go where the need is most.
Well, the need is probably going to be along the Silver Road or down at the Sapphire Coast.
How far is the distance from here to the spot on the Silver Road?
She shrugs. A few dozen leagues. A few days, maybe a week travel.
That seems a good place to start, though we will still need to go to the Embermont, as we believe there's an ingredient we think may work for our potion.
You may know of alternatives, though. Dr. Thrace looks with a surprised look on her face as if she's just realized. I have the recipe here for a potion of... what's it called? Inventory. She starts going through her bag, trying to find it.
Weasels start falling.
God, the bag of weasels.
Where did I put that list? I swore I wrote it down in there. It's not there. Alchemical item. It's not like speed. It's like Cheetah's elixir. That's the name. I'm looking for alchemical reagents that could be used in a cheetah's elixir. We thought we may find some near the burning heat of the volcano. But if you have any ideas, I would be willing to purchase any formulae you may have.
Yeah. Cheetah's elixir.
We're
Well-
very small, so it is important for us to move quicker.
Yeah. If you go far enough out into the Golden Plains, you'll find actual cheetahs. Those will probably be an ingredient, but also very fast. She'll smile.
I wonder if we could get there pissed.
That seems more difficult than getting one of themselves, to be perfectly honest. I think that there might be... She'll start going through her pack and pulling out different bundles of herbs and looking at labels.
But just imagine the giggles we'd get from getting all of the old fogies in the city to drink cheetah.
It would certainly work as a reagent. I think your best bet would probably be to befriend one and...
Request its piss.
She'll shrug. Yeah, that's a possibility. Let's see. The dragonflies that are... The dragonflies that pollinate the Nightblooms. They aren't... They're invasive. They're not from around here, and they're from a far to the west, a different town with a similar sort of ecosystem. But these dragonflies, they work as a magical reagent when you can catch them. The flowers themselves are a good reagent, and she puts one of the stems to her mouth and tapping and just thinking.
Could use the flowers as a trap to catch.
If the locals wouldn't object.
They do. I just use the technique handed down through my family. Thousand generation. Kick 'em into pee-pee. They say, oh no, my pee-pee.
No, the shimmer blooms. The shimmer blooms from Shimmerfield. Those will be the ingredient you want. Those dragonflies and just some common ingredients you can find here and there. She'll list off a few common plants around the area. But the main reagents would be those dragonflies and the shimmer blooms.
That's very useful information. Thank you.
Alright. Well, she continues to sort her alchemical ingredients. She's willing to batch sell you as much as you'd like. But you're pretty well stocked on at least healing potion ingredients. But she's got ingredients for other elixirs if you had any specifics that you'd request.
I would be interested in buying a little bit of what other chemicals we're going to need to make these healing potions out of these crystals, just so we have something to set up with. But I don't know how much money we actually have.
1,100.
Oh, we're not doing bad then.
No. And then Dasha has 100 gold that is, in theory, 25% weasel.
It's a good item.
It's honestly, because of the way that it works, eventually anything, if you put it in and pull it out enough times, will become a weasel. So anytime you need a weasel, you have one.
Yep.
You just have to put an item in and out of the pouch. Like, you know, healers can reattach things, but you chop off somebody's finger and you're like, all right, listen, either do what I'm asking you, boogie, that's a lot. Either do what I'm asking you or never get your hand back because it becomes a weasel.
Weasels are very useful.
Finally found the thing I was looking for on the alchemical plants archives of Nephis. There's a whole thing of alchemical food.
Oh man.
Put it in the OOC chat. Diplomat's charcuterie. The alchemical elixirs are also there. And she'll have pretty much anything of level 1 and level 2 as far as alchemical elixirs.
She said she's willing to sell recipes, yeah? Because that might be what's most useful for me.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find a way to price those.
Formulae have a price of 1/4 the price of the item when it's crafted.
Fantastic. Then, yeah, she'll sell you a formula for any of the level 1 or 2 alchemical elixirs.
Would she be willing to sell me a recipe for something that's not an elixir? I'd like to know if I could learn how to make matchsticks.
How to make what?
Matchsticks? They're just like matches.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She's certainly, I don't know, she's a druid. She probably just, asks a fire to a start.
That's so true. I'm trying to find something I can use to eat fire more easily, but I'll stick to alchemical elixirs. This will let me filter. Find filter menu.
Bottled monstrosities? Oh god.
Brutal.
Octopus bottle. When opened, a huge octopus bursts forth. Oh god.
Okay, there are a lot of first level elixirs, so I'm going to take a hot minute and look at these while we say hi!
Hey, everybody.
Hello!
Hey. Sorry, I'm just dealing with dog stuff.
All good.
Welcome.
Sorry I'm late.
That's all good. Bird couldn't make it today, so.
It's all right. My day got a little out of hand. Hell, my everything is a little out of hand right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did I walk in?
Well, Ksenia will return and spew Dasha forth in a cloud of black smoke. It's night. There's a campfire. Dr. Thrace and Grippy, the hedgehog, and the frog are sitting, chatting with what looks to be a half-elf. The half-elf lady has a mid-sized gray wolf companion and seemingly a flock of birds that are currently sleeping up in the trees above you. She's idly sorting herbs and explaining to Dr. Thrace how to make certain alchemical elixirs. She'll give only a little bit of a start when you appear, Dasha. But they did say you would make a dramatic entrance.
Hi.
Hi there, child. You friends with them?
Yes, we just met recently.
Well, you're welcome to share the fire.
All right. I join everyone at the fire.
She'll explain that she was just talking to them about different places to set up the shop that you all are looking to set up, and as she's an herbalist and a hedge witch herself, she is giving some pointers on different alchemical elixirs and different ways to source the ingredients. A town called Nightbloom, maybe a week's travel from here, it's on a trade route, and it's not a city. She doesn't very much like cities herself.
And she said she's a hedge witch, or has been called, at least.
I prefer druid.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. As do I, actually.
I've got 4 formulae I'd like to purchase from this druid, if you don't mind, God.
Go for it.
Antidote, anti-plague, numbing tonic, and vaccines.
Vaccine.
You have to make a new vaccine for every time you want to use a vaccine, but I can learn the general idea of how to make a vaccine.
Yes. It requires a sample of the disease in question. Yeah. She'll only know the the minor version.
That's all I could purchase. But
Yep.
that is exactly a place to start. And if we have a bunch of travelers coming through, I can purchase samples from the sick to learn how to make vaccines for it.
Just be sure to store them carefully.
It's a long-term plan, but it's a plan. Well, that's 14. 1/4 of 14 is 3.5 gold. Sound like a fair price? Okay. Will you reduce that from our list, Grippy Socks? From our Monet?
Did we lose a Dizzle?
Oh no, sorry, I just accidentally hit the mute button on my thing.
Oops.
Say Levy.
Wonderful. Yeah, she'll go into great detail while you write it all down about how to prepare each step of the alchemical elixir to make antidotes, anti-plagues, and single-use vaccines. She will stress the importance of safety in the last one, and that you do need samples of the diseases in question, and you could become a source of plague rather than its cure if you're not too careful.
Understood. I think these are all things people wherever we go will find very useful. Thank you.
She'll nod. It's getting late at this point, so she's she's a half-elf, so she doesn't need to sleep in the same way that you all do, but it is getting fairly late for our woodland creatures.
Mr. Whiskers will let out a big yawn.
Indeed. Well, she'll ask for Dasha's story as a half-elf herself and someone who keeps to the woods herself. She is certainly curious about this elf child clad in animal skins with her raven familiar.
Well, I'm Dasha, and this is Ksenia, my bird.
Hello, Dasha. Hello, Ksenia.
Oh, sorry, guys. I've had a long day.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to repeat the whole story.
Okay.
Just she
All right.
she'll get it out of you over the course of the next few hours of you two being elves, not needing to sleep and just passing the time while everybody else does. But eventually, dawn comes, and she will start to pack up her stuff. She's headed into town to sell her herbs at the general store, and she hopes that the road treats you all well.
It was very nice to meet you, Alara. You are more than welcome to a discount at our shop when we finally set up.
I have a feeling I will hear about it, she smiles. I'll be sure to stop in. As she packs up and moves out, the birds wake from the tree and fly alongside, following her, some from a distance, some hopping branch to branch by her. So you are nearby Highridge. There are 2 roads that lead out of Highridge. There is the Moon Road and the Silver Road. The Moon Road takes you south towards Emberwatch, towards the Embermont. The Silver Road goes west and down into the valley.
Which way was our caravan supposed to go?
Your caravan was supposed to go west.
Okay.
Your old tower, the home that you had for so long, is just off the Moon Road to the south.
Are both of the ingredients you need, fireflies and flowers, both in the Shimmering Plain?
Yes.
And is that down the Silver Road?
No, that's down the Moon Road, because that's in the shadow of the Embermont.
Right. So I guess we're taking right?
Yep, we're going that way.
Wonderful, wonderful.
There's actual snake oil on the list of alchemical stuff. I gotta read what that does. I hope nothing.
Just actual snakes oils on their skin?
Okay, it's something that makes wounds or other outward symptoms of an affliction or condition disappear for the next hour.
Oh.
So it temporarily makes you feel better.
Beginning of the first day's travel along the Moon Road. Somebody give me a d20 roll. Pathfinder actually has its own random encounter thingy that I'll use.
15.
15. Flat check D for mountain is 16, but if on a road or river, decrease the DC by 2.
Hey.
So that would be a random encounter. Roll me a d10 dizzle.
4.
Did I 4? Harmless. Give me examples.
Mouthy elderly lady.
Just a couple of rats having a good time.
Yawn.
Oh, you're on the
Look,
road at this point, so probably a mouthy old lady is the most likely.
Suplex.
You're not that strong.
I mean,
You're
she's
right.
a little old lady.
That is true. You did specify little.
Yeah, my strength is only 11. Well, effectively, I got a +1, so I guess that would be like.
Yeah, that's 12 or 13.
Yeah. No, that's strong enough to suplex.
It's
Yeah.
strong enough to suplex a little old lady.
Little specifically, not all of them. Fair caveat. Now, if I took Titan Wrestler.
But no, it's a little old lady on a carriage being pulled by a donkey. She's got foodstuffs going towards Highridge, and she tells you that you have the ugliest donkey she has ever seen.
Oh man, good thing Nick Holt can't speak English.
Oh, I'm gonna cut her donkey loose and say, at least I have.
Is anyone attempting to stop you, or just going for it?
Mean poem audibly once I realize what Grippy's gonna do, but I recognize he's gonna do it anyway. I give her a look of sorrow and regret before he does it. Say, oops.
she looks confused, and then her donkey is cut loose.
I give him a go slap on the backside.
Make me a command animal roll.
Is that nature?
I think so.
14.
Nature check against animals will DC. 14, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing gives a loud bray and then bolts, kicking clods of dirt up out of the road. The little old lady, like, you complete and utter ass!
I'm gonna give her the finger and say, be nicer to strangers.
This is why I'm mean to strangers!
This is why strangers are mean to you.
It's the circle of life.
Moving ever onward.
And she hops down off the cart to like go hobble after the mule, or go hobble after the donkey.
I'm gonna go through her wagon.
Grit, we're trying to go straight.
Oh, right. My bad. Hop down wagon.
Potatoes, carrots, radishes, that kind of thing.
I will steal a carrot as I'm hopping down. Or wait, no, a radish. I'm gonna hop down and eat a radish like an apple. Steal, not nothing, just prawn.
Crunch. Alright. Well, the rest of the day along the Moon Road is uneventful. They
That
call
lady.
it not for that lady. They call it the Moon Road because it heads through a valley that's rich in moonstone and glows under the light of the full moon. It was probably one of your favorite sights to see, as you could see it every full moon from the top of the Mage Tower. You pass under it as you're walking the Moon Road. The clouds that are gathered around the top, roiling as ever. For the next day's travel, can I get a d20 from Dasha?
Yes.
If you're near d20.
Yes, I am.
Wonderful.
Well, That's a 6.
6. In the random encounter table that it's kind of got, low is good.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow, that's weird. But I'll take
Right?
it.
No random encounters on the second day of travel. You do get to or you have to pass by the offshoot, the turn off to go down the path towards the mage tower. Something in you wants to burn it to the ground, but you know it's made of stone, so that wouldn't work.
Not with that at
That is higher level civic wizardry than Dr. Thrace currently has. At the end of that day, you are in the heart of the valley. You can see a few places where quarries have been dug. You're hoping for a clear night tonight so that the moonstones can shine. The Embermont has been looking irritable today, but you're far enough away that you're not under its shadow.
all day, like gleefully telling Dasha about like all the different nights we've spent under the full moons over the past 6 years. Her father looking at these stones, just like every day, just like or all throughout the day, just looking at her and being like, "I really hope you get to see it tonight."
We're past the tower now, right?
Yeah, you passed the turn off earlier today.
Just double checking.
Yep. You can still see it, of course. You can see it from quite a distance away. You're still practically under its shadow. Come on.
But it's too late for us to go firebomb it. So, oh well.
It's never too late.
The time for apologies was years ago. Time for violence is now.
There we go.
My mom.
Alright, roll me a d10. Xandra.
D10. 3.
3. Chilly, hazy, and foggy. The haze in the sky is not enough to blot out the moon. It's chilly, but make me a survival... Is it survival or... Is that not a thing anymore?
Yeah,
No, survival. Make me a survival check to set up camp. Find a good place for it.
Oh, geez. 25.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, you find the perfect spot to set up. On top of a hill with the parting trees overlooking the valley and one of the quarries. As the moons rise, they glow. An eerie blue-green glow that makes the carved-out hillside look like marble. You can, from here, see your next destination. Moonstep Village is along the road. But you wonder...
I'd like to have a combo with Grippy about something important.
Yeah.
Grippy, we should probably come up with a story of how we escaped the caravan attack, if anyone asks. The longer it is since that attack, the more likely it is we'll run into travelers who were there. But I do think we have a very good and obvious answer that should get us off relatively scot-free. The bandits literally in the past thought we were too cute to murder.
Ah, yes.
So if someone asks, we can just say the bandits were going to kill us, but decided we were too cute.
And that it would have lived on and haunted them forever. Especially when we told them we're 6.
Dr. Thrace dramatically sort of smacks her hands together like she's getting dust off them and says, "We're so smart."
There's a reason you have a doctorate.
That puts a little bit of a hop in the doctor's step for the rest of the day. Haven't thought of that one. This brilliant plan.
Well, wonderful. Mark off another day's rations and start off again in the morning. flat d20 check from Grippy.
Yeah, give me 1 second. 9.
As you continue on the road, it's fairly well maintained, and it comes to a T-junction. It meets up with another road that heads deeper into the valley off to the east. I think that society check to know what is that direction.
I think I'm probably best suited for that task. My society is +8. 14 plus 8. 22?
22, fantastic. Off that way, that is the Moonlight Pass. The only way through the Titan Ridge mountain range for probably 500 miles in either direction.
So probably well frequented by merchants and traveling goods.
Not as much as one would expect because of what's on the other side of those mountains. And that is the Black Sea. The Dead Sea. It is...
The one that overwhelmed its banks centuries ago?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that you were taught about that one specifically in your class on ley lines. They're rare enough that they're not terribly useful, but nodes are useful to know about. Places where lines of power meet, and two major necromancy lines converge in the center of that lake. Well, the center of that sea. And
Understood.
it's rumored to be the location of the Lich King's first capital, but nobody really knows. In any case, the pass there is mostly long distance. They tend to carry pretty expensive goods, because nobody would make that particular journey without damn good reason. And farther out, Night Watch is the name of the sort of the culture that lives along the banks of the Dead Sea. So some of the Night Watchers might use this road if anyone was going to.
So a dangerous path nearby.
Yes. Headed off away from that, the south, you eventually come across a village. Moment. I'll pull it up. The Moonstep village reminds you just sort of how high up you still are. The glacial valley that you've been transversing for most of the day is sparse and rocky, but the valley sort of tricks you into thinking that you're low. But when you come to Moonstep Village, it has a breathtaking view of the greater valley beyond. The snow-capped peaks behind you and the ever-smoking Embermont off to the south. It's a beautiful place. The harsh mountain environment is obvious here in that it's mostly timber and stone. The walls are sturdy looking, but around them are standing stones littered around the walls. They have engraved faces on them. You can you can sort of feel the energy coming off of them when you have to pass by what the locals refer to as the welcoming stone. It has a kindly face etched into it, but you can almost hear something from it, whispering or murmuring.
Attempt to make out what it's saying.
Make me a perception check.
7, 11, 7.
Yeah, you're not catching anything distinct. The wind rushing through the valley is too loud for it. But inside, approaching the gates, there are guards atop it, but the gate itself is not closed. There's some guards on the inside who are checking on some wagon in front of you. Somebody who must have got here before you did.
Hey y'all, I'm sorry. I need to dip out early tonight. I'm really tired. I did not sleep well last night.
That is totally fine.
Yeah, I've been dealing with a lot lately.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I really am trying to stay focused, but I just can't do it today. I love you guys, but
Love you.
I'll see you next week.
Thanks for saying hi, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, of course. Night, y'all.
Good night. Yeah, and I don't really blame her. Apologies. I am trying to make the overland travel as interesting as I can. But it is another town. It's pretty, and the architecture reflects a blend of practicality and a touch of whimsy, with colorful murals and intricate carvings adorning many of the buildings.
This was the place that had been recommended to us for potentially setting up shop.
No, that was probably another 3 or 4 days down the road at Nightbloom Village down in the valley.
This is the town on the way.
But this itself is not a bad town for that kind of purpose by the looks of it. It seems like they get a lot of business through from both Embermont and the silver mines near Highridge.
Oh.
It might be a little bit too close to Highridge for your own personal comfort.
Right. And the other
We
place...
need to get from a town. This is probably a good place to look.
You want to do what?
The other place is closer to where we'd find the dragonflies too, right?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Well, you are essentially at the point where the Moon Road turns into the Shadow Road. Beyond here, you are entering the shadow of the Embermont. Even here, the snow is strange. It doesn't feel cold and quite cold enough for snow. And it's probably most unnerving to Grippy because having gone to school at the Embermont, you're sort of used to this, Dr. Thrace. This is a very light ash fall.
I understand.
But it is perhaps particularly irritating to Frogskin, being basically powdered glass.
Yeah, Grippy is not stoked on the ash. Definitely layered up in a thick cloak. Actually wearing pants for.
Yeah, because it just itches whenever you get some of the ash on you. It just kind of itches.
Have to make a moisturizing cream if we're going to live in this area.
True, but I'm certain we can come up with some sort of solution for you.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Thrace, she, as a, mammal, you've got fur, and on the worst of the ash days, you can put on goggles and a scarf, and, you're not gonna have a whole lot of problem with it, and just shake off the ash when you get inside, but Grippy's sticky.
I'm thinking maybe we'll try and come up with something that dries your surface level out a little. Some sort of desiccant that makes you less sticky. That way you
Yeah.
won't need
And
the gloves.
Covered in baby powder.
yeah. Oh God, no, not baby. I
Just
guess that
talcum. We'll roll you in a bucket of talcum powder. Dry
the
frog.
long and short of this campaign is that Grippy gets cancer from the talcum powder.
Whoops.
The bird would be having a. I think that from here at the edge of the shadow and getting just a taste of the ash fall, it didn't occur to anybody because there's not exactly a bunch of frog people around, or people with, people who breathe through their skin. Anywhere in the shadow is probably not going to be a good place for Grippy to live long term.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I am very itchy, frog.
That is quite the conundrum. How big is the town we're in on the edge of this?
It's a good sized town. It's sort of at the middle of the three different routes from Emberwatch, from Nightwatch across the Titan Ridge, and from the Silver Peak Mines, and headed down and out to the Serpent's Nest. There's a road that goes from Moonstep Village to Silver Lake. Silver Lake being essentially what you would have hit if you went straight to the west of Highridge town. That would be where the caravan was headed.
So find us some supplies, a good little supply of them, and then head to Silver Lake. See if we can find any other good local reagents.
I mean, setting up in this particular village might not be the worst thing. It is a little bit, close to Highridge Town for your liking, but really anywhere nearby is going to be. Silver Lake would be closer, but Moonstep Village, you could go down to Nightbloom, the Shimmer Fields, to collect ingredients and then bring them back up here. It's about the same distance from here to there. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I thought that you were saying that this village as well was too ashy for me to exist in, and I'm like, oh shit.
No. Anywhere closer than this, you couldn't. You wouldn't be able to live long term.
Okay. Well, this is a cute, quaint little spot.
I think that it is certainly a good spot to think about and to weigh options when the rest of the party is here.
Yeah.
Because you're really at the crossroads. You can go really anywhere from here. You can go to the Serpent's Nest, you can go to the Embermont, you can head off through the Titan Ridge over to the Nightwatch.
I feel like that would be a very bad time.
It almost certainly would be. The rains there are... They're not as itchy as the ash, but they certainly don't feel good. But I think that we will call it there.
Alrighty. That was a great session. I had a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Excited to see where this goes.
Me too. I will see y'all next week.
GG, y'all. See you next.
Bye.